Hey, welcome back, you beautiful people. It's Big Ben's movie show, back for another week. We got Jensen Lefevre back, because he's awesome.
What's up?
We know how much everybody loved him. So here's the deal. New thing for this week, and something we're going to be trying out now. We didn't watch any movies for the show. Well, we did, but we did them on another show. So we didn't watch any movies for this show. So we're not going to talk about movies we watched. Instead, we're going to be talking about some of the cool stuff that's happened this week in the world of entertainment. And we're going to start things off right now. Here we go. Mariah Carey, I don't know if anybody saw it. I think a lot of people saw this. New Year's Eve, the big Dick Clark's New Year's Eve show. She was supposed to sing, I believe, 3 songs. She kind of muddled 2 and then left. And in the middle of Auld Lang Syne, she lost it and the track that she was lip syncing to, because they're all lip syncing on those shows.
FYI.
Yeah, no, they're all lip syncing. It's terrible.
Well, Happy New Year! We can't hear, but I'll just get through the moment. All right. We didn't have a check for this song, so we'll just say it went to #1, and that's what it is. Okay. Feels like a We're missing some of this logo, but it is what it is. But I like the way I'm gonna say let the audience sing.
It was unbearable to watch, and yet I watched every second of it.
Oh, God. Like, she doesn't even attempt a recovery afterwards.
I find her so uninteresting, and just like, and every time she tries to look hot with her little poses and her, and like constantly wearing V-necks down to her belly button, even when her kids are present.
Yeah.
None of it works for me.
It's the diva thing that I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of. Because I don't like arrogant people in my own personal life.
Yeah.
So then why would I appreciate somebody who gets paid millions of dollars to be somebody I don't enjoy?
Mariah Carey, you suck. Okay, moving right
You can
along.
sing, but like,
So last week, of course, we lost Carrie Fisher, and it was a really sad thing to have happen. This week, though, interesting bit of news: Disney had taken out an insurance policy on Carrie Fisher for $50 million that she wouldn't finish 1, 2, or 7, 8, and 9.
yeah.
And of course, now we know she finished 7 and 8, but she didn't finish 9. So now Disney cashes in for $50 million. This almost feels like they were betting she would die.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what insurance is anyway, but
Yeah, which is weird because by all accounts, she was a 6-year-old woman. Yeah, she'd partied pretty hard and done a lot of drugs, but like,
yeah.
you'd think she'd have a little bit more life left in her than what was presented.
We lost a lot of people last year that were around 60 though. So it's,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, and George Michael too, which he was right before her. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's that's a weird one. I don't know. I don't. To me, there's a part of me that hopes that Disney takes that money and maybe donates it to a charity or something like that. Does something good with it, not just.
Instead of throwing it onto the already Scrooge McDuck pile of cash that they have
Exactly,
lying
yeah.
around, you know this is going to start sparking tons of conspiracy theories about like that, oh, she was poisoned on the plane, or like, oh, it was, like Disney went after her and whatnot.
I'll stab you in your sleep.
Oh, so Carrie, you want to do 2 more movies with us? That's cool. Just sign on the dotted line, and we'll take it from here.
And maybe have a drink of this and see what happens.
Enjoy.
Next up, Ben Affleck. This is one that we've actually talked about on the show once or twice already. Ben Affleck is keeping everybody in suspense that he may or may not do a Batman movie. Meanwhile, everybody else associated with the movie is moving forward and says, oh yeah, we're making a movie. In fact, we're shooting in April. Joe Manganiello, who's playing the bad guy, he says they're shooting in April. Warner Brothers and DC both say we're shooting in April. And then you hear from Ben Affleck and he says, oh, I don't even know if we're making that. I haven't even seen a script. He wrote the script. Like, from what we're hearing, he wrote the script. Is he playing games with people? What is this?
Maybe he's just still in recovery from like Jennifer Gardner leaving him, that he's just so emotionally distraught that he forgets even writing the script.
That's freedom, though. I feel like her leaving him is like.
You feel like
that's
he
one
got
of
the
those,
good end of the deal. Because he's not a bad-looking dude, and now he's buff.
No, he's not a bad-looking dude, and he's ripped, and he's divorced from Jennifer Garner. And from what I understand,
got money.
there's so many nannies to bang.
So many
nannies to
many
bang.
nannies.
You know him and Schwarzenegger on the phone? Did you bang my nanny? It's a hell of a nanny. You should bang the nanny.
Yeah. Actually, I banged her too. She was really great. That was a terrible Ben Affleck impression.
There is no good Ben Affleck impression.
Ben
Affleck doesn't do a good Ben Affleck impression.
No, there's nothing impressionable about him.
No, yeah. Meanwhile, Arnold has that great voice. Speaking of Arnold,
yes,
comes to our last little bit of news here. So Arnold is the new lead of Celebrity Apprentice, because the other one, I believe he got a different job doing something else.
Yeah, he got some kind of upgrade.
So this is interesting though. So he took over Celebrity Apprentice, and the images have come out from the show, and you can see Arnold looks orange, which makes me think that at that show they had a tub of leftover Trump makeup, and they were like, "This is all we know to do. We're just gonna make you orange. It's all we know how to do." And so
it looks better for our cameras. They're set for that.
Yeah. And then the big thing that everybody was wondering was, okay, now that he's the host of the show, Trump always said, "You're fired." What's Arnold gonna say? And the big idea out there was he's probably gonna say, "You're terminated because of the Terminator," and that's what happened. So that was kind of a bummer. But the good news comes at the end of that, because after he tells them you're terminated, then he tells them to get to the chopper.
Oh, good God.
And I love it. It's such a, it would have been great.
If he gets mad at somebody, does he tell him to go get the tumor?
Serious. Like, "I don't like you on my show. You're a party pooper." And yeah.
Just rehashing on his entire career.
Every single
now.
line he's ever had.
I mean, technically, Celebrity Apprentice pretty much is Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
At this point.
It's a whole bunch of people just rehashing, like, "Remember when we were famous?" And they just keep doing all that. And for some of them, it's like, I'm trying to be famous because I'm not really famous.
Yeah.
And so there's 4 or 5 people on the show this year who aren't actors or writers or anything. They are TV hosts of other shows, or they're reality stars.
Oh, yeah, like Howie Mandel? Isn't he on there?
Well, Howie Mandel, he's not this year. He was a couple years back.
Okay.
But like
Still
this year, the person who got eliminated first was Carrie Keegan, who I have never heard of. And it sounds like though she is the host of a TV show that I don't watch. She's on there. One of the Real Housewives is on there. But then they also have people like
Snooki was on
John
there.
Lovitz.
Which is so sad to me that John Lovitz is on there now. That's rough.
That's what's happened though. I mean, that's after he lost his comedy club, and he had some other kind of like. Basically, we all found out that apparently John Lovitz is not a nice man. And after we found that out, nobody really wanted to work with him anymore. And that's how you end up on Celebrity Apprentice.
I actually got to meet John Lovitz a
Really?
couple of years ago. Yeah, because I used to work at John Lovitz Comedy Club for a while.
Okay.
It's a long story, but I was watching his dog as he was part of a meeting of some kind, probably the meeting where he lost his club. And I was sitting on a stoop of stairs, and the dog like jumped up on my lap and kind of like sat right there on my crotch for a little bit. When we just kind of like sat there, did like an album
that
cover
dog's
pose.
trained to do dirty things.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a classic Hollywood dog. And so there's a picture of me somewhere with John Lovitz's dog sitting on my noodle. Yeah.
On your stuff.
My stuff. My junk.
Your junk. That's gross. All right.
Don't do Hollywood, kids.
All right. That's it for the entertainment news for this week. Right now we're going to throw the show to Nick Schreiner down in LA. He's going to give us a quick recap of his favorite movies from last year, and I think some of his not so favorite movies. So take it away, Nick.
Thanks, guys. I'm Nick Schreiner down here in La La Land, and I've seen a lot of movies over the last year. A lot of movies I want to see again. A lot of movies I wish I hadn't seen at all. But I do see a lot of movies, most of them because I don't like feeling my feelings. I'd much rather feel someone else's feelings on the big screen. It helps keep real life at a distance. One movie I saw that was just so good. I was excited for it, and it paid off. Oh, Captain Fantastic. So fantastic. Viggo Mortensen, the Lord of the Rings guy, the king. You wouldn't even recognize him. He's so fabulous. He's a hippie dad in this movie, and he has this ensemble of kids that don't stage him but are so fabulous, and you just got to see it, okay? I also loved Hunt for the Wilder People. It's kind of a similar vein, really quirky, kind of off the beaten path. It takes place a lot in nature, and it's a New Zealand movie. And sometimes it like the techno hits, it's like doosh, 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 doosh. And it's like, are we in a music video? No, we're in a feature film, and it's really funny and quirky. These Kiwis are so weird and kind of like, hey, whatever we've got. And super endearing, super fabulous. I also, on a personal note, met a really nice girl in the movie. She was sitting next to me, seat F8, and she was. We had a little impromptu date. Didn't do any dancing, but the romance was flying, and she lives in Montreal, so please, if you're watching this, je t'aime, come back to me. After that, we did a double feature, because the date was going very well. We saw Swiss Army Man, which was so disappointing. I was really excited, because I'd seen the preview like half a dozen times. They were showing it at Sundance Cinema. In every single movie, we'd see a preview, and it's 90 seconds of Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe being like absurd monsters, doing all this crazy stuff, being a jet ski, total fantasy land of like, what are we watching? But unfortunately, that's all it was. Like, the whole movie was a 90-second stretched out thing. Like, everything we saw in the trailer was in the movie. So skip the movie and catch the trailer. It's really bizarre and awesome, but not enough to last for an hour and a half. For me. This is all my opinion. This is all my point of view. I don't actually know Hugh Jackman, who was in Pan, and not to pan it, but it was just not a really fun incarceration of the, Never Never Land world. It was like Mad Max for Disney. It just didn't work. But what else did I like? I did like Deadpool and Kubo and the Two Strings, and Zootopia was super nuanced and fabulous. I also love Sing Street. You can catch it on Netflix now. It's an Irish flick. Maybe I only like movies that talk with different accents, but it's about this kid who just so desperately wants to be accepted and liked, and he finds a girl and he asks her to be in his music video, but the rub is this guy doesn't even have a band, so it's so he's got to go through and do everything he can to make it work. And it made me want to see Ireland, even though it was not a beautiful part of Ireland. It takes place in the 80s. Check it out. Also, I didn't like Civil War. So sorry, but it just fell flat. It was too much of a good thing. I mean, Tony Stark, who'd have thought he could do wrong? He didn't do wrong. It was like everything thrown against the wall, and I'd had enough, I want to see Spider-Man, but it was like, what was the story? There may be a threat with these guys who are frozen. Never mind, everything's fine. We just wasted an hour and a half beating each other up. So that happened. I can't think of any other movies I didn't like besides Jack Reacher. Tom Cruise, I love you. But, don't see that either. It was like his girl, who he never even slept with in the movie, just was not even, stop. I'm Nick Schreiner, guys. Ben, back to you.
All right, thanks, Nick, for your recap of the movies from 2016. I think we shared some of your same opinions there.
Nice hair.
Now I want to talk, though. So every year there's these big movies that come out, but now there's kind of this underground movie market, and that's the pirated movies. So I want to talk quickly about the most pirated movies of last year. This was from a list of 10, but I whittled it down to the top 3 because I thought they were kind of interesting. And one of the things that we can see from this list, and we'll go over it here in just a second, they're all superhero movies.
Nerds pirate movies a lot, apparently.
Yeah. So it's we've kind of, and I've got them listed almost in opposite order. But number 3 for last year, Captain America: Civil War, of course, which was a big movie. I think it was the number 2 movie of the year. I think maybe Finding Dory, I think, had more money, but that was about it. So that was a big one. Batman vs Superman, which of course did over $750 million, and finally Deadpool was the number 1 most pirated movie last year. As I'm looking at this, I keep hearing that superhero movies are on the decline, that we're all going to get tired of them. Obviously not.
No, they still make a ton of money. Deadpool didn't hurt that bad from being pirated.
And it's the number 1 most money-making X-Men movie in their entire franchise.
It made more than Thor, Batman. It made more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Superheroes anyway. And
on a $60 million budget too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It pulled what was it? Napoleon Dynamite. Dirt cheap, made a ton of money.
Even though it was rated R, I went and saw it twice.
Yeah.
Both theaters that I was in had kids in them. Somebody brought their kids to see it because they thought, superhero movie.
Yeah.
And even though it's rated R, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then your child had to sit there and watch Deadpool get pegged.
Yeah.
On the screen, which I never thought I would ever see happen in a superhero movie. But there it was, Ryan Reynolds on all fours, taking it like a man. So much respect to you for that. I'm also surprised that Batman vs Superman is on there, though.
Yeah, especially because Batman vs Superman Kind of blowed.
Yeah, a lot of people really didn't like that movie.
No.
I think like a 25, 27% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What probably happened was a lot of people heard that it sucked, and so then they went and pirated it just so they wouldn't spend any money on it.
Well, and just like let's see how much it sucks. Because I will say this: the year before, Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That one came out and got, I believe, like a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. That was even more universally panned. I did see that, and I downloaded that movie. So I'm one of the pirates. That was the only reason I watched it though was
I want to see how rough this is.
like when you tell me there's a train wreck out there.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go see let's go check the wreckage and see if we can spot a few bodies.
See if there's any survivors left.
Yeah.
Can anyone have a career after this?
And so far, Miles Teller, he seems to be doing okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of them seem to be doing okay.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan is still a great actor.
Michael B. Jordan, well, and he had Creed right
afterwards. That
and
redeemed him immediately.
And then, of course, Captain America Civil War, that makes perfect sense. It was one of the most popular movies of the year. In fact, I think part of the reason that one lost to Deadpool was that Deadpool came out earlier. So you have an entire year of people being able to download Deadpool, and only about 6 to 7 months of people downloading Captain America Civil War. So,
and I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people who went to go see Deadpool, and then were afterwards like, oh my, like, dude, you got to go see this movie. Like, here, I'll download it real quick so we can watch it.
Exactly. So that's the most pirated list of movies for 2016. Let's go ahead and talk about 2016's over. Let's talk about 2017. And because 2017 already we know has a ton of great movies lined up. So let's go ahead and kind of talk about our most anticipated movies for 2017. Mine, I actually am going to have to wait for a long time for. It's Star Wars Episode 8. I'm a giant Star Wars nerd. You people have seen the show. I dressed like Han Solo a couple weeks back. I do that. I've done that now both years that Star Wars movies came out. I'm probably going to do it next year too. So, but for me, Star Wars Episode 8, just because as much as I liked Force Awakens, it felt like there was still more on the table that they didn't deliver. And I'm waiting. And I got some of that from Rogue One, but that's not the main storyline that I love so much. And so I'm hoping that Episode 8 is that one where I finally get everything I've been wanting.
You get your entree.
Yes. I'm hoping that they hold true that like the second one of this trilogy is the best. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh yeah. It's Disney at the helm. They do a very good job with their films. They do a very good job controlling their properties. I think it's going to be a great movie. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good Star Wars movie. We're going to get to see a little bit more of the chemistry. Everybody liked the characters from Episode 7.
My dad hated Finn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he just racist?
No, that was my first question, but no, he wasn't. He was like, no. His problem was he pointed out that Finn doesn't know how to do anything. In a world where everybody needs to have some skills and some talents to be able to get around and do stuff, Finn seems to have no talent.
He's even a bad liar.
Yeah.
So
he can't lie. He can't
lie, but
like other than pointing and shooting.
Yeah, but to be fair, he was trained to be a stormtrooper.
Where all he does is point and shoot.
All he does is point and shoot.
There you go. All right, so that's the one that I'm hoping to see the most. What was the movie you wanted to see the most next year?
If it's half as good as the trailer, I'm excited for Logan.
Oh yeah.
That looks just absolutely meaty and raw. It feels like they actually took a superhero movie seriously this time, instead of just like, oh, it's a fun romp and like we're just gonna have like Hugh Jackman show up and flex a lot. This was like, no, we're gonna try to tell a story here. We're hitting on some heavy themes.
Yep.
They're talking about the end of the X-Men, the end of mutants.
Yep.
They're bringing along
the
female
X-23 Wolverine.
X-23.
Yes.
Yeah. They're bringing her on, which I think looks like an exciting like relationship dynamic.
Yeah. And it's different from in the comic books. In the comic books, she's a clone of Wolverine, and they meet each other as adults.
Right.
But it looks like in this, she's going to be a child that he has to take care of.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting idea, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Also, we get to see Patrick Stewart again back as Professor X, and I love Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
I would watch that man just eat soup all day. It's just good soup.
Oh, it's delicious. Oh, bring me another. And also I like the fact that like they went out of the way to make sure that it was a rated R action movie, which means that hopefully they're going to get some good choreography in this, and it's going to actually look like an actual fight scene.
And because any Wolverine movie should be rated R. I mean, it's a story about a guy who has claws that come out of his hands, and he doesn't use them at all for cutting meat. They are all for killing people.
Exactly.
And so we should be able to see all that, and it should be rated R. I mean, that's So yeah, it kind of, the decision to make it rated R kind of came on the tails of Deadpool.
Yeah.
Which, and maybe that was what they were waiting for, was to see that a rated R superhero movie could succeed. And as soon as it did, they were like, all right, if this works, let's go for it. Let's do it.
I feel like Logan, that's actually appropriate. Hopefully they don't just start doing that with every single comic
I don't
book
need
action
rated
movie
R
now.
Spider-Man.
No, that'd be just uncomfortable.
Yeah, that would be weird. Yeah.
Peter Parker like cursing up a storm. Well, he's from New York. He's just like,
Well, it's Marissa Tomei, so is Aunt May, so maybe she's getting down with somebody. He like, I don't know. I don't want to see any of that. That's
hey, Aunt May, get the blank off that dude. And that'd just be weird.
Yeah, no, that'd be weird. So leave the rated R ones as they are, and yeah, but at the same time, let them be rated R. That's really cool.
Let it when it's appropriate.
When it's appropriate. When it's appropriate. All right. Well, that's the first two halves of the show. So, first two halves, that would be the whole show.
Well, good night, everybody.
No, we're not leaving yet. We're not leaving yet. We still have Suck Not Suck. So here we go with Suck Not Suck. Number one, the Han Solo movie has been pushed back to December 2018 instead of being released in the summer. Now, a lot of people are saying that that's because they've seen how much success Episode 7 has had, how much success Rogue One had, and that they're like, we don't even want to mess with the summer.
Yeah.
You know, right now December has become Star Wars month.
Yeah.
And we rule it with an iron fist. Why mess that up?
I think that's smart, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie's gonna suck. I think it's smart to come out in the summer, or sorry, in December, because there's already so many blockbusters coming out in the summer anyway.
Exactly.
And after like this break of like a few months of not having any like big blockbuster hits, it's nice to have at least one where it's like, okay, I don't have to go see something artsy or something I have to explain to my friends. No, look, it's really good, just slow. It's like, no, guys, come on, let's go watch Han Solo.
Well, and that's normally in December. That's what we end up getting is a whole lot of the movies that they want to release in time
for the Oscars.
For the Oscars.
Yeah.
So we're getting piles and piles of really good, and yet maybe not so entertaining, but really good films.
Yes.
And so this is the perfect spot to drop a movie.
You're getting films.
Yeah,
yes.
You're getting films, and they show up with a great movie,
You're like,
and everybody can go see that. So it's I absolutely agree. There's less competition in December, and really all the big blockbusters for the winter months get released in November.
Yeah.
So this last year there was no competition in December, and I don't see any competition next year. So good on you guys for that. I also say not suck. All right. Speaking of November next year, this is kind of a cool one. Doctor Strange is now officially going to be appearing in Thor 3. So Thor 3 up until now, what we knew was it's going to be Thor and the Hulk in kind of a buddy cop type situation, but it also deals with Ragnarok, which is the end of all existence. So it's got a lot going on, and now that we find out that kind of an extension of that cutscene that came after Doctor Strange, he's going to be showing up in Thor and possibly fighting alongside Thor and the Hulk.
That is probably what's going to make that movie so much better. Because I feel like out of the main cast of like the Avengers of like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor was always the weakest link.
Exactly.
It was
The Thor
just boring.
movies.
Yeah.
Thor movies have been the weakest of the entire set. The Captain America felt a little bit like I liked the first one, but I can see where people say it was a little weak.
Yeah.
But in the second one, it got amazing, and then the third one was even more amazing.
Yeah.
But I also like this idea though that in all of the solo movies now, we're going to have characters from the other movies coming in. It makes that movie stronger, and then it also helps to enhance the other characters also. Plus, it's just more fun.
Yeah.
It's like when I was a kid reading comic books, like I'm picking up Spider-Man, but if you show me Spider-Man with Wolverine on the cover, and I know that I'm getting a little Wolverine with my Spider-Man, I'm picking that up even faster.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
We already have a lot of standalone films as is.
Yep.
Like Doctor Strange has already had his one-off movie.
Exactly.
We've already had one-off Captain America. We already had one-off. We were about to get one-off Spider-Man soon.
Yep.
So to me, it's
but we know Iron Man's going to show up in that.
Yeah, that's true.
But then we had 2 one-off Thor movies.
Yeah.
So
and those were both
Thor.
pretty weak.
They're both pretty weak. Yeah.
To me, this just shows that Disney, as much as we make fun of them and harp on them, they know what they're doing.
They absolutely know what they're doing. And the other reason they're doing this is they can't do a Hulk standalone movie.
No, because they've learned their lesson.
No, because they've actually there's actually legal rights.
Oh, really?
So the legal rights of Hulk in a movie actually still belong to Universal and Paramount.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you do a Hulk standalone movie, it has to be, I think part of the credit goes to Universal.
All right.
So, but if you put Hulk in other people's movies, that's fair game.
All right.
So yeah, it's kind of a little sneaky end around to make that happen. I'm all for it because I love the Hulk. You can put him in as much stuff as you want. I'll watch all of it. So, all right, next up, Jumanji. This is the Jumanji remake. This is the one starring Kevin Hart and The Rock, the team that actually performed probably better than the trailer made it look in Central Intelligence. Did you see Central Intelligence?
I did.
Okay, and so from the trailers, I did not want to see that movie.
Right.
But then once I saw it, I was pleasantly surprised that it's still not a great movie. Understand? No, it's like a 5 at best.
It was an afternoon killer, is what it was.
Yeah, it's an afternoon killer. But the chemistry of those two is actually quite good.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited to see this Jumanji movie. But now we're finding out that and of course it was actually supposed to be released a couple weeks back. So obviously that didn't happen. Now we're finding out that it's going to be Christmas next year.
Oh.
But the movie's done. And that's another thing. What we're finding out now is that there's a lot of movies that are done in the can just sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I understand that part of it is you want to pick the right part of the year. You want to, stuff that gets dumped in February, dumped in September. It's usually because it sucks and it's not very good. And then sometimes they make a movie and find out it's better than they thought, and they'll move the release date to the summer or December or something like that. But this one is straight up just pushing it out a year.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder what's wrong with that movie.
I'm gonna call it. I think it's gonna suck.
I have a bad feeling it's gonna suck also. Yeah.
Because if you got two big leads like that, both Kevin Hart and The Rock, and then you have a completed film, and they're like, if you have faith in your material, you're gonna want to play it as soon as you can. But this is like, let's push it a little bit further back. Let's see what else we got. Come on. No, that doesn't speak confidence to me.
Yeah, and the whole thing is a shame too because I love the original Jumanji, and it's a bummer that they would need to do this.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Last one on the list. Lindsay Lohan is trying to make Mean Girls 2 happen, like it's Fetch or something.
Yeah.
But I can just say that's not going to happen. I mean, so when I was looking at this stuff, I looked at a poster from Lindsay Lohan from Mean Girls.
Yeah.
And I looked at how she looks now.
Good God.
Ooh, you got ugly. That's bad.
That's what drugs and excess partying will do to you.
Oh, and there's definitely plastic surgery going on
Yeah.
too. Her lips are at least like the Grinch's heart swelled up 3 sizes. It's like, and Lindsay's lips swelled up 3 sizes that day. Yeah, they're huge, and there's clearly some jawline stuff going. She's a mess now.
She's also become the person that Tina Fey would not want to work with.
Exactly.
And that movie works because of Tina Fey's script.
Fey wrote it, and her being there on set as another character in the movie. Yeah, and Tim Meadows, and really, I mean, that movie is full of SNL alumni. Yeah. And they really do help carry it through all the little parts that it needed. Yeah. And then, of course, Rachel McAdams, who's amazing. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, and if it does, it's going to suck. So, sorry, Lindsay. Not happening. All right, that's the end of the show for this week. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions with the show or issues with the show, feel free to email us. It's bigbms@zoho.com, bigbms@zoho.com. If you like me and want to hear more of what I have to say, I have 2 podcasts, both on the Geek Wars Podcast Network. Just search Geek Wars Podcast, and you should be able to find them. It looks like the Star Wars logo, but it says Geek Wars. Jansen, anything you want to plug?
Yes, I am still on Power 94 and Power 102 here in Chico. You can listen to me every weekday from 10 a.m. to 2. I cover a bunch of weird stuff. We play music, I goof off, and let you know what we're doing in and around the city. Plus,
the station plays a lot of good music, too, so you can listen to that. So, all right, next week, we don't know. We're not sure. This is our first week of doing this stuff, so we'll see how this goes and see what happens next week. But we'll be talking with other people about other things. So, thanks so much for watching. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Did you notice I kept that in the show last week?
Oh, you really?
When you did the show, yeah.